Was there anything that you were encouraged by that might have been overlooked last week? When, with the loss, some things kind of get maybe missed.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you saw in particular?
Yeah, I think anytime you win or lose, the fans, the outsiders will overlook the good and bad that you have to keep working on and grow. What I'm most pleased with is that we're down 2 scores and our guys come back to go up 3 scores and to get the 3 scores to go up by 1 score. And so to see the tenacity in our team, to see the resilience to keep playing, to not let the scoreboard dictate the emotion of a game. I think even Lindenwood was surprised by that. And you saw a team they want to fight and scratch to the very end. And so that's I'm really proud of. I'm excited for the team. That's something that really speaks volume for the type of group you have. Now we need to be able to finish it off. And you see some issues that arise at the very end against when you play a great team like Lindenwood, which they're Division II full scholarship team. You need to make sure you're on top of things.
Talk about Terrell Watson a little bit as he emerges on both sides of the ball. How would you best describe his style of play, and does he compare, I guess, with any of the other running backs or D linemen that we've had at Azusa Pacific in the past?
Terrell's a throwback, and I think he should be playing with a leather helmet, and so he is everything that football is good about football, the purity of football. I mean, just a fine young man, a standing hard worker, just a guy who is always looking to help the team. And so when you look at his style of running, it's completely different than the rest of the styles. All of our other running backs are somewhat slashers or somewhat they're going to get in the open field on you and they're going to hit and go. Terrell's a guy who likes the contact, who will break arm tackles. And for the way the game was going last week, is that Lindenwood is a big physical front 7 guys, and so they need to break some arm tackles, need to break a few, just run through some tackles, and Terrell's able to do that. When he plays defense, you could tell he's just an instinctual player. We obviously teach him what we want him to do within our scheme, but then you see his athleticism and his moxie to be a great player, could take over. So. Real special young man, but I'm most proud of him, just who he is off the field. Could be a better person on the team.
Mm-hmm. When's the last time you've had a two-way player that's had that much impact on both sides of the ball?
I personally have not had that since I've been my 11 years here. I've never been around anyone like that. I think Jack Williams is probably the last guy in our program to be able to have a two-way dynamic impact that Terrell's having right now. So, and I wasn't when Jack was playing. I wasn't here, but having known Jack personally and knowing the history of our program, that's the last person that comes to mind of being that great two-way player. But because there's been guys who have played both ways, but sparingly on one side, on a special situation package. Terrell has been playing solid snaps on both sides of the ball, and even on special teams where people don't notice that he's on there, he's making some incredible tackles as he covers punts, covers kicks. So yeah, you love what he's doing, and you applaud him, and you want to see him keep working harder because there's a higher ceiling for him. So he's just a freshman, so he's going to get after it.
The second half defensive adjustments you guys made after that opening drive had 4 3-and-outs and a turnover. Mm-hmm. Did those adjustments have more to do with scheme, or was it more of the players kind of locking in and really starting to click with what you guys were doing?
Yeah, I'd say it's both. I'd say we did make halftime adjustments with scheme, kind of figured out what they wanted to be. And for Lindenwood, they have the ability within their system to throw a lot of different packages at you. And so it was kind of finding out what package they felt like they wanted to attack you with. What do they feel like they have? And so we were able to change some things schematically on us that felt like put us in a stronger position. I know they wanted to run a lot of unbalanced formation, and so we adapted our scheme to it fittingly, and Coach Wilmer did a great job with them at halftime adjustments, and so I was really happy with that. We saw the second half, we played great defense, and our guys focused in even more. Settled down, you're on the road, playing a great team. We knew it would be 4 quarters. We knew it would be something where some haymakers are being thrown, and you're going to have to take it on the chin and just keep getting back after it. So felt like we took their best shot in the first half, and guys are like, all right, we're ready to go.
Now with 2 opportunities left, 2 games left for your team to make its case as a playoff team, you wrap up with 2 NAIA teams. Are these? Do you consider these must-win games for a playoff spot?
I mean, I consider every game a must-win for us, just because they're being an independent, and we're training our players and focusing our program to win every single game. And so everyone's a must-win in my mind. Being at Southern Oregon and being the last 2 are, and then Menlo, last NAIA Independence, it's great to be able to play NAIA teams if you're trying to get yourself to an NAIA playoffs. This being the last season that we're in the NAIA playoff eligibility, it's good to be able to have that on your schedule, to know that at the end of the season, the voting committee that's going to decide whether or not you go to the playoffs is going to want to see what you did versus NAIA competition. So that helps us quite a bit to do that. I think what helps me and it helps the whole team, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's one that you get more football to play. The other side of it, though, is you're sad because this is one of the greatest teams I've been around in regards to the type of family atmosphere, and not to take anything away from a lot of the great teams we've had. It's just, this is just a special group. And they falls into a category. A lot of the special teams we've had here at APU. I think it's indicative of our school and the type of community that's created here. Yet, as a head coach, you've been with a lot of these guys for all 4 years, and you develop great relationships with them. To have it know that no matter what, playoffs or not, this thing's winding down, and this thing is so. Every Monday practice takes on its own extra special meaning, and maybe that's me being a little bit Dick Vermeil. I don't know, but it's like it means a lot to me to be able to spend time with these players, and so I'm fired up that I get to have football with them, but I'm also on the other side like, man, I'm trying to savor every moment, and so are they. They're great. They're a great team. They're savoring every moment with each other as well.
When you talk about the team, the season winding down, what areas are you looking to grow in this week in particular, leading up to the homecoming?
Well, I think special teams, for one, has to improve. When you're on the road, you travel 52 players. What happens is some guys that have to play special teams aren't normally you're in that key role. It's one of the areas, being where we're at in regards to our support. That is the area that can drop off, and so we need to make sure we're putting the right personnel in those special teams. We need to help understand that every play matters when it comes to special teams. We give up that punt return for a touchdown, and that's just not right. We can't get that. We can't do that. It has to end. And so, in the emotion of a game like that, I'm not saying this happened. I'm just saying, it's kind of you wonder is a guy who has to, who's also starting on the defense. Is he looking at, okay, is this become an assumption snap? Which sometimes in the whole realm of football, special teams become assumption snaps for groups, and we always are trying to preach against that great cultural current that happens in football. But this is going to be evidence on the film when we talk to the team. Is that, do you see right there that this took on an assumption snap, and you can't have that. You can't. You want to be champions. You got to play championship football. Championship football happens one snap at a time. If you get that snap, you got to get after that snap. And that, bottom line, you got to do that. And it's not just that one snap. There's a few more throughout the game where special teams has got to improve. Offensively, defensively, you're always still with your tackling and blocking. You watch the film, and you need to hold the tackle a little long. Hold the block a little longer here. You need to make this key tackle there to not let it turn into a big play. And we failed on occasions to do that, and I think it's because you're playing a great opponent, not just a very good opponent. We're talking about Lindenwood is a great opponent. Great, obviously they take their football extremely serious, from the way that they outfit the team to their facilities are top notch. So, and you love that. You want to play great football. We had we're right there. We're on the heels of it all, and we're going to be that type of program here.
Season opener was a real tough, close loss. Your team responded with 6 wins in a row. Yeah. How do you expect them to respond again, knowing how they did that earlier this year? Again, another tough loss, close loss. Yeah. What do you expect from them in terms of a response throughout the season?
I'm coaching 110 Warriors. I am. And I say that very seriously. These men are tough men. They, maybe some people would say they lack in height and weight or outside looks. Inside, they have the heart and the mind of a warrior, and I expect them to respond with extreme diligence, extreme focus, extreme confidence, and I expect them to learn from this thing. We say all the time, as you win some, you learn some. And I expect them to learn from this everything it takes to take that next step forward. And so I couldn't be more proud of my team. I could be more proud of how they played last Saturday night. And I know I'm going to be very proud of them this week, how they respond, because the leadership's outstanding. From the least to the greatest, these are a bunch of tough men who are looking to become something greater than a football player. They're looking to become something they can be proud of when they look in the mirror, be proud of when they stand before their parents and say, this time at APU, this time on this team, I'm becoming something that you can be proud of, but I know that I can stand on solid ground when the chips really get down later on in life, when the heat really gets on later on in life. So we always say we're building champions while we're pursuing championships. So I'm coaching a bunch of champions. Now, did the scoreboard show what we wanted? No. But the reality is they're going to fix it. They're going to get it right, and they're going to refine their game this week.
Great. One of the things you mentioned after Saturday's game was the offensive line really started to assert itself in the second half, especially. How does that come about? How does an offensive line go about asserting itself and really making an impact together?
Well, it's just my experience and my observation that you begin to see what a defense thinks they have on you. You begin to get a feel for who that D lineman is. You begin to see his moves. You begin to kind of understand how he's fitting you up. And so as that happens in a game, and being that we have a very big O-line, they communicate very well with each other. And within our own schemes, within the subculture that is an offensive line culture, they can communicate with each other well, and there's great O-line communication at pre-snap. So when that happens, you're feeling them out, you understand what's happening. For any time they kind of give you something different, they begin to work it out within themselves. And obviously, coaches are having influence on the sideline. But what I love about this group is they know how to talk with each other. They know they're saying this, they're seeing the same things. And if one guy sees one thing, he's able to translate it very clearly across the board to the other side. So when that happens, you're able to now communicate what blocking assignments need to change up, how to talk with each other, how to stay a little longer on a combo, how to maybe release a guy a little earlier to fit up to the second level. Those are the things that our O-line does very well, and as they'll adapt throughout the game.
Great. Now, the Southern Oregon rivalry over the last decade, a little bit longer, as a fellow West Coast independent, it's gone back and forth over the years.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say makes the biggest impact on the result when these two teams play each other?
The fact that the records don't matter, and they're a competitive bunch, and they're obviously finding their stride, getting after it with their team coming off a win, and it's a fun game. It's a competitive game. It's a records don't matter game, and so so when you're trying to pinpoint what it is, I think if you pinpoint, it's like what any great rivalry is. It takes on just a life of its own, and that's why it becomes just a big highlight for me, myself, in the season, and for the whole program, the guys who've been around this game. So excited to have it homecoming. Excited that the crowd's going to be fabulous, and it's going to be a great game.
And talking about that, how excited are you as a coaching staff, and how excited are your players for the atmosphere this weekend? It's going to be probably the biggest crowd of the season. Just talk about what you guys are looking forward to.
Well, it's APU, man. It's APU family coming to town. It's one of the greatest alumni networks out there. I mean, we expand throughout the whole world, and especially the Western region. And when you see the APU family come back, I mean, I'm going to see players that I coached a long time ago, their wives and children. You're going to see that type of link and connection happen. The in-and-out trucks are everywhere. It's just a carnival. And I try to tell people, unless you've been at our homecoming to really see it firsthand, I just can't do it justice. I mean, this is one of the greatest communities that come together. And this Saturday night, you're going to feel the energy, you're going to feel the excitement, the electricity that happens. And that's why Azusa Pacific is so special when you go here, because you're going to leave with lifelong relationships that show themselves to be true when a homecoming game happens. There's a lot of schools that homecoming happens, and we've played them. It's like you would not know it's homecoming, you know? Besides the extra balloons around a stadium, you don't, yeah, there's extra people coming there, but it's like, oh, okay, it's homecoming. For us here, you understand there's something happening in this game. It's homecoming, and this is it, man. When it's homecoming at APU, the greatest week of the season. So, and that's just a tribute to this whole community, from the professors to the president, the vice presidents, the staff. There's something special that happens to a person when they go to APU, because it's a lifelong experience, and so it shows up, and so I can't be more excited for this game.